So it's been a couple of days since I brought this Expedition home. Got it covered up with a tarp. It looks awesome, I guess. Just to keep the rain out. But look at it actually sitting straight on the trailer. That's awesome. The wheels are straight. All of that is straight. There's no extra holes in the firewall. Almost a platinum. There's a nice dent in the door, but I bought these doors used and they're just shells, so we'll have to fix them. But instead of replacing the whole quarter panel skin, which was, you know, only like $600-700 in parts, and it was mostly labor to cut this whole quarter panel out. We have to get up in the roof and all that and cut this glass out, and I was trying to avoid it, so this was the solution. And probably hard to see in the video, but it's actually pretty straight. It just needs a little thin layer of Bondo or glaze and it'll be good. But this way we don't have to replace the whole thing. Rear bumper, have that. So the goal today is just to uncover it and take the fender off, port off, and whatever is primered, I want to spray it with white paint. And under the hood of these cars is just regular white paint, no gloss, anything. So I'm most likely just going to use spray cans and just spray it just so it looks original. And even from the factory you can see that it's not even covered all the way in white, so just a thin layer of white paint out of a spray can will do it. And I mean, there's no really a reason to paint it, but I just want it to look as original as possible. So alright, let's get some work done. So on the inside, this is what it looks like after the frame repair. Everything is sealed properly, riveted properly, just like in the factory. So today I'm gonna scuff all this up and spray a little bit of white paint over it just so it looks original. And then we can start assembling the interior, put the sunroof back in, and take it back to the shop and put the engine back in and make this thing drivable, because it's kind of a pain to get it on and off the trailer without the engine in it or steering wheel or anything. It has no brakes at the moment or anything like that. So alright, let's get to work. So I've got it all sanded down everywhere, cleaned it up, degreased it, and it's ready to paint. I've only sanded the interior for now. I want to paint that and then let it dry, and then start doing the same thing on the under the hood on the firewall. So the paint I'm using is out of a can. Yeah, I know it's not probably the right thing to do, but it's on the inside, it'll get covered up. It's a really good paint. Flat white, just like the rest of the interior. And you can tell that it's a really thin coat of paint on the inside anyways, so it's just basically to make it look as original as possible. Alright, let's start spraying. So there it is, the inside's all painted. Yeah, it's not an exact match of paint, but who cares as long as it's covered in paint. Looks pretty good. Alright, now let's do the same thing in the engine bay. So the engine bay and the apron and the transmission tunnel has all been painted. Looks pretty good. Also, I went ahead and put another coat on the inside because you could still see the black primer showing through, but even though it gets covered up, I still wanted it to look original as possible. So I guess we'll give it a day to dry fully, and then we can start assembling the interior, sunroof, and then put the engine back in, which we'll have to take it back to the shop to lift the cab one last time to put the engine and transmission back in, and then once I set it back down on the frame, torque the bolts to spec, then I can put the windshield in. And after that, once the Expedition is drivable, I'm gonna take it to the paint shop and complete the paint on the outside, make it look 100%, and then just assemble the front end, headlights, grille, radiators, all that. And it's getting very close to completion. I would say probably we are at about 70% complete. It's all uphill from now. Alright, let's keep going. Going to end this video here. Got the insulation on the firewall put in the engine bay. Also insulation on the inside of the firewall. And cleaned it up in here a little bit. And ran the wiring back in place. It's coming together slowly, but it's getting there. Also, there was a few dents on the roof. They're not perfect, but of course I touched it before it was dry. That's primer. It's not perfect, but it's on the roof, and it's as good as it gets. There was a tear here from before, but it's looking good. So the goal is to paint the roof first, so I can put the sunroof in, and then assemble the interior, just so I have a dash in here and a seat and the brake pedal, gas pedal, so as soon as I put the engine in, it will be drivable, so I can drive it on to the trailer or off the trailer without having to forklift it. That's the goal. Alright, that is it on this video. Next video, engine in, interior put together, make it drivable.